Welcome back, everybody. Today's deep dive, we're looking at wedding crashers.
Oh, wedding crasher.
Yeah, so all sorts of stories about unexpected guests and just, like, crazy things that people think are okay.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and these are all from Reddit, so,
Okay.
real people, real stories, mildly infuriating.
Mildly infuriating is right.
Yeah, so it's, about navigating, like, all those anxieties about, like, etiquette
Right.
and, like, family dynamics.
Oh, yeah. Family dynamics are the worst at weddings.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so to kick things off, we've got this bride who, like 2 days before the wedding,
Uh-huh.
gets a text from her mother, right?
Okay.
And her mother was like, oh, by the way, 2 people you've never met are going to be at your wedding.
Oh, I know, right?
2 people she's never met.
Never met, yeah.
Oh, that's got to be so frustrating.
Can't even imagine.
Like, where do people get off thinking that they can just, like, invite people to someone else's wedding?
Right. Like, it's one thing to, like, offer suggestions.
But to just, like, add people to the list.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's wild.
I think some people, they think it's less about celebrating the couple
Uh-huh.
and more about, like, appearances and who they can show off to.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at my extensive social circle.
Exactly. Yeah, and then, like, they just forget that it's actually about, the couple getting married.
Right. And I mean, can you imagine the stress for the couple?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you're finalizing everything, seating charts, catering, all that.
Yeah,
And then, bam, 2 extra people you have to accommodate.
that's a nightmare. Like, logistically
It's a nightmare.
and, like, financially.
For sure. And I feel like this really highlights how important those, like, early conversations are.
Oh, yeah.
Like, having those maybe, like, slightly awkward chats with the family about the guest list,
Yeah, totally. Like, hey, we have a budget.
Right. Exactly.
And, we have limited space.
Exactly.
Things like that.
Because, like, avoiding that conversation up front
Yeah.
could lead to, like, a way bigger blow up later on.
Oh, for sure. Like, way worse.
Right. Okay, this next story, I don't even know where to start.
Okay.
So a user on Reddit shared that the venue owner,
Okay.
interrupted their reception to give a tour to potential clients.
What? No way.
I know, during the speeches.
Oh, my God. That's like peak main character syndrome.
It's so bad. And when the couple was like, hey, what are you doing? The venue owner said,
Yeah.
it's my property. I can do what I want.
Oh, that's so rude.
I know, right? Like,
Okay.
no consideration.
Not at all.
It makes you wonder, like, what should couples look out for when they're venue shopping?
Right. What are the red flags?
Because, I mean, I know it's a competitive market out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And you might feel pressure to, like, book a place even if you're, like, not 100% sure.
Totally. But, like, if the venue owner is already showing that kind of disrespect
Yeah.
before you've even signed a contract, imagine what it'll be like
Oh, yeah.
after you're locked in.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge red flag.
Right. Okay, moving on from, crazy venue owners.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those guests who, like, think a wedding is an open house.
Oh,
Like, they just show up, no invite.
bunch of wedding crashers.
Yeah, wedding crashers. I read about this one guest who brought an unannounced +1
Oh, no.
to a wedding where, like, seating was already super limited.
Oh, that's awkward.
I know, like, were they just completely clueless?
It's like they don't understand how weddings work.
Right. Like, invitations, RSVPs.
Right. Basic etiquette.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And now the couple's, like, scrambling to find an extra chair.
Totally.
The uninvited guest is probably, like, mortified.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a good situation for anyone.
It's just, like, a lack of awareness
Right.
and consideration.
And I feel like, maybe it's because of social media.
Yeah.
Like, you see all these, like, lavish weddings with, like, tons of guests.
Right, and it looks like everyone's invited.
Right. And it makes it seem like, anyone can just show up.
Yeah, like it's just a big party.
Yeah,
Dude.
exactly. But it's not.
It's not. It's about the couple.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about, like, family members pushing boundaries.
Uh-huh.
But what about when it's, like, a friend or someone in the wedding party who crosses the line?
Oh, that's even worse.
Right. Because, like, you'd think those people would, have a little more awareness.
Exactly. Like, you're in the wedding party. You know how important this day is.
Right.
You should be on your best behavior.
Totally. And there's this one story that, like, perfectly captures this. A groomsman's girlfriend
Okay.
basically, like, invited herself to the destination wedding,
Oh, no.
monopolized his time the whole time,
Uh-huh.
took a front row seat at the ceremony,
Okay.
and then, like, threw a tantrum when there wasn't a place setting for her at the reception.
Wow, that's
Like the ultimate.
a lot to unpack there.
That's a lot, right?
Yeah, it's like, first of all, how do you invite yourself to a destination wedding?
I know, right?
And then, like, to cause a scene when there's no place for you.
Right. And the groomsman, like, he knew she wasn't invited, but he didn't, like, say anything.
He just let it happen.
Yeah, like, he was afraid of confrontation or something.
Maybe.
And it just blew up into this huge thing.
Oh, yeah, it always does.
Right. And I feel like it's another example of, like, why clear communication is so important.
Totally.
Not just between, like, the couple and their families, but also, like, within the wedding party.
For sure.
Everyone needs to be on the same page.
Absolutely.
Because when people are afraid to, like, speak up
Yeah.
or set boundaries,
Right.
these situations can get really out of control.
Oh, yeah. Way out of control.
And then, of course, there's, like, the financial burden of these uninvited guests.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, the extra food, the seating arrangements.
Yeah, it all adds up.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah, and weddings are expensive enough as it is.
Exactly. Okay, before we move on to more, like, serious wedding drama,
Okay.
I have to share this funny story.
Okay, I love funny stories.
So this bride's mom was trying to invite, like, 2 guests
Yeah.
named Evelyn and Pablo,
Okay.
but it turns out
Yeah.
they were the bride's cats.
Cats.
The cats.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
I know.
People really do name their pets like human names.
I know. It's like asking for trouble.
It is, but I mean, at least it's a funny story.
Right. A little bit of levity in all this. You know?
Exactly. You gotta find the humor in it all.
Totally. Okay, so we've talked about family drama, venue nightmares, uninvited guests.
Right.
What's, like, the most surprising thing you've heard so far?
That's a good question. I think. You know what really gets me is how people just ignore, like, +1 rules.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when the couple clearly states no +1s and people just bring them anyway.
I know. It's like they think it's just a suggestion or something.
Right. Like, they don't really mean it.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, couples put so much thought into the guest list.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about, like, the numbers.
Yeah, it's about the whole vibe, right?
Exactly. Like, who's going to get along? Who's going to, like, make it awkward?
Totally.
And a random +1 can just, like, throw everything off.
Yeah. I read about this bride who was having, like, a smaller wedding.
Okay.
And she couldn't even invite all of her aunts and uncles
Uh-huh.
because of space, right?
Yeah.
And then her nephew shows up with a guest.
No.
Yeah. Like, come on.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's so inconsiderate.
I know. Like, at least ask first.
Right. Or, like, maybe the couple could send a reminder email closer to the wedding,
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
just, like, reiterating the +1 policy.
Yeah, because people forget.
They do. And then there's, like, the people who assume they can bring a date,
Oh,
even though it
yeah.
doesn't say "and guest" on the invitation.
Right. Right.
Like, where do they get that idea?
I don't know. Maybe they think it's, like, implied?
Yeah, or maybe it's, like, a social media thing.
Maybe.
Like, everyone's always posting pictures with their significant others.
Yeah, and it makes it seem like, you always have to have a +1.
Right, exactly.
But weddings are different.
They are. Okay, so we've talked about +1s, but what about, like, the ultimate wedding crashers?
Oh, you mean the people who weren't invited at all?
Yes.
Oh.
Like, they never got an invitation, but they just show up anyway.
Wow. That takes some serious guts.
I know. Like, how do you even...
I guess they just assume they're on the list.
Yeah, but, like, how?
I don't know. Maybe they heard about it from someone else.
Right, or maybe they just, like, really want to go to a wedding.
Maybe they just love cake.
Maybe. But seriously, it's so disrespectful to the couple.
Bro, totally. It's their day. You know?
Exactly. And there was this one story where a guest RSVP'd no,
Okay.
but then showed up anyway with a +1.
Are you kidding me?
I know. Like, what's going through their heads?
That's just, like, next level bad manners.
Right. And then they complained about not having a place setting.
Oh, come on.
I know. It's like, you weren't even invited.
They have some nerve.
They do. And I feel like, sometimes you just have to be firm.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you can be polite, but you have to set boundaries.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't let people just walk all over you.
Right. Especially on your wedding day.
Exactly. It's about protecting your vision,
Totally. And, like, it sets a precedent for the future.
That's a good point.
Like,
Yeah.
if you let people get away with this at your wedding, they'll think they can do it at other events, too.
Right, exactly. So we've covered a lot of ground here, from +1s to self-invited guests. What's, like, resonating with you the most?
I think for me, it's how so many of these issues could have been avoided with better communication. It's wild, right? Like, all these issues could have been so easily avoided.
I know. It's all about communication, really.
Communication is key.
Yeah, like if families were more upfront about their expectations
Uh-huh.
and guests actually like read the invitation carefully.
Right, and ask questions if they weren't sure about something.
Yeah, instead of just assuming.
Assuming is never good.
No, it's not. It's like that saying,
Oh, you mean assume makes an ass out of you and me?
yes, exactly.
That's a classic.
So true, though.
It really applies to weddings.
Big time.
Like, couples need to be clear about their vision,
Uh-huh.
and guests need to be respectful of that vision.
Totally.
It's a two-way street.
Yeah. It's like a pre-wedding prenup.
A prenup.
Yeah. But for like etiquette and boundaries,
I love that. A prenup for peace of mind.
right? Everyone's on the same page.
Exactly.
No surprises, no drama,
Hopefully.
hopefully. But really, it's about remembering that weddings are about the couple.
Of course.
You know, it's their day, their
Then
celebration,
it's all about them.
and guests are there to, like, share in their joy.
Support them.
Yeah, support them. And I think it's easy to forget that sometimes,
Oh, yeah.
you know, with all the planning and the details and everything.
Less stress.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's about two people making a lifelong commitment.
Exactly. It's a
Oh,
big deal.
It is.
Huh.
So I guess the main takeaway for our listeners is
Communication.
communication, yes.
And respect.
Respect for the couple.
For the couple, for their wishes.
For the whole process, really.
Yeah, and remember, it's just one day.
Right. It's not about you.
Don't make it about you.
Yeah. Be a good guest.
Be present, be supportive, and, enjoy the party.
Exactly. Well said. So on that note, we're wrapping up this deep dive into wedding crashers.
It's been a wild ride.
It has. Until next time, everyone.
Stay tuned.
And remember, be kind to each other.
Oh,